If you are watching this right now, then God has personally reached into the universe and placed this message in front of your eyes. This is not coincidence, this is not accident, this is divine intervention. And what I am about to tell you will shake something deep inside your spirit that you have been carrying for years without even realizing it was there. Listen carefully, because God is about to speak, and He is very serious. You may feel a strange heaviness in your chest right now. You may feel like this video found you at the exact moment your soul was searching for answers. That feeling is not ordinary. That feeling is the fingerprint of heaven touching your life. And if you stay with me until the end of this message, you will understand why God told you to shut your mouth completely. Not because He is silencing you, but because He is protecting you. And what you're about to learn will change the way you breathe, the way you speak, and the way you walk through the rest of your life. Type yes in the comments if something just awakened inside you. Because that stirring is your confirmation that this message was prepared for you before the foundations of the world. Chosen one, I need you to understand something before we go any deeper. You are not here by accident. Not at this hour, not on this day, not in this season. You are here because heaven released something for you right now. And if you leave this video in the next few seconds, you will miss a divine instruction that your spirit has been begging for. So I am asking you, with every ounce of sincerity in my voice, stay. Stay with me. Stay until the end. Because what God is about to say to you through this message is something you have never heard before and something you will never hear again in quite this way. There is a reason you are hearing this today. There is a reason the algorithm placed this video in front of you instead of 1,000 others. There is a reason your eyes froze on this thumbnail for half a second longer than usual. You were never ordinary. And today, heaven is making sure you know it. Let me take you somewhere deep, somewhere your mind rarely goes, somewhere your soul has been longing to return to. Take a breath, let your shoulders drop, and let me speak to the part of you that has been exhausted from pretending to be okay. The part of you that has smiled through pain, laughed through tears, kept moving when your spirit wanted to collapse. That part of you, beloved chosen one, is exactly where God is meeting you tonight. You have been carrying words you were never supposed to carry, conversations that drained you, explanations you owed no one, defenses for things you did not do, arguments that stole your peace, confessions that exposed your heart to people who did not deserve it. And God, in His mercy, is now telling you something that will feel strange at first, but will set you free. He is telling you to shut your mouth completely, and He is not being cruel, He is being your Father, because He has seen what your words have cost you. He has watched every argument that kept you up at night. He has felt every apology you gave to someone who never once apologized to you. He has counted every secret you shared with people who betrayed that secret before the sun went down. And His heart has been breaking as He watched you bleed words instead of keeping them locked in the chest where they belong. Chosen one, your words are seeds, and the enemy knows that. So he has been engineering conversations, situations, even friendships, designed specifically to make you open your mouth at the wrong time. And every time you did, something was lost. A blessing, a covering, a door, a relationship, a peace that took months to rebuild, and God has finally said no more. No more bleeding words for people who do not pray for you. No more defending yourself to people whose minds were made up before you even started speaking. No more explaining your heart to people who were never really listening. Today the orders have come down from heaven. Shut your mouth completely and watch what God begins to do. This is not random. None of this has ever been random. The reason you are hearing this right now is because you are standing at the edge of a new chapter. And the last war the enemy will fight for you is the war of your mouth. Because once your mouth is sealed, once your words are guarded, once you learn to be still, the blessings of God will pour into your life like rivers that have been dammed up for decades, finally being released. And the enemy cannot survive in a quiet mouth. He thrives in noise. He thrives in reaction. He thrives in the moment you open your lips before heaven has even finished writing the answer. Listen carefully. God is about to reveal something to you that most Christians will never understand in their entire lives, and it is this: the most dangerous battlefield for a chosen one is not the workplace, it is not the family, it is not the marketplace. It is the mouth. Because everything God has prepared for you must pass through your lips to be released. And if your lips are undisciplined, you will speak the wrong blessing into the wrong room. You will release a vision before it is time. You will explain a calling to people who will weaponize it. You will declare a promise before the foundation is laid, and the enemy will steal it before the breath even leaves your lungs. Type 777 in the comments if you trust God's timing over your own explanations. Because what I am about to tell you next is something your spirit already knows, but your mind has been fighting for years. You were never ordinary. From the day you were born, heaven marked you. Not in a way the world notices, not in a way the crowd applauds, but in a way that only God and you understand. You felt things deeper than the people around you. You cried at things no one else cried at. You sensed danger in rooms everyone else called safe. You knew when a smile was fake. You knew when a friendship was real. And people called you too sensitive, too emotional, too deep, too intense. But what they did not know, chosen one, is that your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a frequency. It is the frequency heaven uses to communicate with you directly. And that is exactly why the enemy has been working overtime to keep your mouth busy. Because if you ever went silent, you would hear the voice of God more clearly than you have ever heard it in your life. And that scares hell. So hell whispers doubts. Hell stirs up drama. Hell floods your schedule with conversations that take everything out of you. Hell puts people on your path who ask questions designed to make you react. And every reaction, every hasty word, every emotional outburst is a hijacking of the very breath God breathed into you to speak with power. And God, seeing this, has finally intervened. He has said, "My child, shut your mouth completely." Not forever, but right now, in this season, in this chapter, because I am about to do something that you will ruin with your words if I do not quiet you first. And that something is closer than you think. It is closer than the sunrise. And if you stay quiet through this storm, you will walk into a blessing that would have been delayed an entire decade if you had kept speaking. There is a reason you are hearing this today. The reason is timing. And God's timing is never off by even a single second. So if I told you the breakthrough you have been praying for is not held back by your sin, your past, your mistakes, or your lack, but by the words coming out of your mouth when you were never supposed to open it, would you believe me? Would you let that truth settle into your bones? Because that is exactly what heaven is revealing. Your breakthrough has been waiting on the other side of your silence. And every unnecessary word you have spoken has been a delay. Every explanation you gave to someone who did not deserve it has been a setback. Every argument you won but lost peace over has been a closed door. And God, in His tenderness, is not punishing you for it. He is protecting you from it. He is saying, "Child, I cannot pour new wine into old vessels, and if your mouth keeps pouring out the old, there will be no room for the new. So shut your mouth and let me fill you." Chosen one, even in your hardest moments, God has been preparing you for this exact night. Even when you felt abandoned, even when you felt invisible, even when the people you loved the most treated you like you did not exist, even when you cried alone in rooms no one knew about, even when the doors you knocked on slammed in your face one after another, even when your faith felt like a flickering candle in a hurricane. God was shaping you. He was pruning you. He was removing the noise from your life so that you could hear His voice more clearly than ever before. And this message is the proof of that. Because if you were not being prepared, you would not be here right now. You would be watching something shallow, something ordinary, something that did not pierce your soul at the exact moment it landed in your spirit. But you are not watching something ordinary. You are watching something heaven engineered specifically for the season of your life you are walking through right now. And I need you to understand that with every part of your being. Now let me tell you what it means to truly shut your mouth. Because most people hear that phrase and think it means to become mute, to withdraw, to never speak again. But that is not what heaven is saying. Heaven is saying something far deeper. Heaven is saying, stop opening your mouth before God has finished speaking. Stop speaking words that were never given to you by heaven. Stop rehearsing answers to questions you were never meant to answer. Stop defending yourself in courts God never sent you to. Stop explaining your calling to people who were never assigned by heaven to understand it. Shut your mouth, not because your words do not matter, but because your words matter so much that the enemy has built an entire army around making sure they come out wrong. Type amen in the comments if you have been speaking when God told you to be quiet. You may have noticed something strange happening in the last few months. Maybe you felt a sudden urge to withdraw from certain friendships. Maybe you felt a sudden disinterest in conversations that used to excite you. Maybe you felt an unexplained desire to spend time alone, away from noise, away from people, away from the constant chatter of a world that demands your energy. If that is you, chosen one, I need you to understand something. That urge was not depression. That urge was not isolation. That urge was not weakness. That urge was God weaning you off the noise so that He could finally speak to you without competing with 1,000 other voices. And now that you are quieter, now that you are paying attention, now that your spirit has the room to breathe, this message is the very first revelation He is releasing into your stillness. And there will be more revelations, week after week, month after month, each one deeper than the last, each one building on the one before it. Until one day, suddenly, with no warning, the breakthrough you have been praying for will arrive. And it will arrive in a season when your mouth has been so disciplined, so guarded, so sacred, that the blessings flowing through it will be unstoppable. Nothing about your life has been accidental. Not the abandonment, not the betrayal, not the rejection, not the loneliness, not the nights you begged God to take your life and He refused. Not the scars, not the tears, not the silence you walked through that no one noticed. Every single piece of your story has been woven together by a Father who has been building something inside you that the world is not ready to see. And the moment you shut your mouth completely, the world will begin to see it. Now let me speak to a very specific group of chosen ones tonight. Some of you have been the victim of spiritual attacks that no one believed. Some of you have been mocked. Some of you have been called crazy for the things you sense, the things you feel, the dreams you have, the burdens you carry that the people around you cannot even begin to understand. Some of you have lost friendships because the friends could not handle your depth. Some of you have lost family members because the family could not handle your growth. Some of you have lost opportunities because the room you were in was not the room heaven had assigned for you. And in every single one of those losses, the enemy whispered that you were broken, that you were cursed, that you were forgotten. But the truth, beloved, is that every single one of those losses was a divine gate closing behind you so that the enemy could not follow you into your next chapter, and your mouth is the last gate the enemy is trying to keep open. Because the moment your mouth closes completely, the moment you stop defending yourself, the moment you stop justifying yourself, the moment you stop explaining yourself, you become untouchable. You become a quiet force that heaven can fully inhabit. You become a sealed vessel that God can pour into without anything leaking out. And when God pours into a sealed vessel, the weight of His glory becomes so heavy that no enemy can stand in its presence. So shut your mouth and let Him fill you. Type 1111 in the comments if you are ready for heaven to fill you with something sacred. Let me take you even deeper. There are levels of silence the enemy is terrified of. The first level is the silence of the lips. That is when you stop speaking unnecessarily. That is when you stop arguing. That is when you stop explaining. That is when you refuse to open your mouth in rooms that were never assigned by God. And that level of silence alone has destroyed more demonic assignments than any sermon ever preached. The second level is the silence of the mind. That is when you stop rehearsing conversations that will never happen. That is when you stop imagining worst-case scenarios. That is when you stop mentally arguing with people who are not even in the room. And that level of silence is where peace begins to flood your spirit like a river that has been dammed for years finally being released. The third level is the silence of the soul. That is when you stop grieving the past. That is when you stop rehearsing old wounds. That is when you stop begging God for answers He has already given you, but you were too distracted by noise to hear them. And that is the deepest level. That is the level where God speaks loudest. That is the level where destiny accelerates. That is the level where every closed door begins to swing open in ways that defy human explanation. Chosen one, you were never ordinary. You were built for this level of silence. You were built for the third level, because your spirit has always been older than your mind. Your discernment has always been sharper than your vocabulary. And your connection to heaven has always been stronger than your connection to the noise of the world. And the world is about to finally begin to see it. I want you to take another breath with me right now, a deep breath. Let everything you have been carrying settle into the floor beneath you, because what I am about to share with you is something most believers will never hear taught in their entire life on earth. And it is this: there are moments when God is silent on purpose, not because He has abandoned you, but because He is creating the conditions for your greatest miracle. And those conditions almost always require the quietness of a chosen one. Think about the greatest miracles in Scripture. Moses at the burning bush did not speak until God finished speaking. Elijah on the mountain did not act until the wind, the earthquake, and the fire passed and there was a still small voice. Joseph in the pit did not defend himself. He shut his mouth. He waited. And in the waiting, heaven elevated him. Mary at the feet of Jesus said almost nothing, and the entire world was changed by her silence. Jesus, before his accusers, opened not his mouth, and heaven split open above him. Every great move of God was preceded by a quiet mouth. And that includes the move of God that is about to happen in your life. This is your confirmation. The heaviness you feel right now, chosen one, is not confusion. It is not anxiety. It is not depression. It is the weight of God pressing His hand on the surface of your spirit, sealing it, preparing it, anointing it for something that has never been done through your life before. And if you shut your mouth completely, if you give Him total custody of your words, He will release through you a power that the enemy himself will not be able to explain. There is a reason you are hearing this today, and that reason is not just for you alone. That reason is for every soul heaven has assigned to your life. Every soul that is going to be reached because you finally stopped speaking your own instructions and started speaking God's instructions. Every soul that is going to be healed because you finally stopped defending yourself and started declaring the truth. Every soul that is going to be set free because you finally stopped bleeding words and started sealing them. Now I want to speak to you about something the enemy has been doing that most chosen ones never identify until it is too late. The enemy has been causing you to feel an overwhelming need to speak. Not because you have something to say, but because he wants to keep your mouth in a state of constant activation so that heaven can never use it as a clean vessel. And that is exactly why your words have been losing power. That is exactly why your prayers have been feeling empty. That is exactly why your declarations have been bouncing off the ceiling instead of breaking through. Because your mouth is exhausted, chosen one. It has been overused. It has been misused. It has been drained. And now heaven is asking you to shut it completely so that it can be filled with something entirely new. So that it can be filled with my breath. So that it can be filled with my fire. So that it can be filled with my thunder. So that when you finally do speak again, the sound that comes out of your mouth will carry the authority of heaven itself. And that sound, beloved, will shatter chains, heal sicknesses, restore what the enemy stole, break generational curses, raise the dead. It will shake rooms, it will shake nations, it will shake the very foundations of hell, and the enemy will not be able to stop it. because it will not be coming from you, it will be coming from heaven through you. Type 222 in the comments if you are ready for breakthrough, because what I am about to tell you next will mark you forever. There are three voices competing for your mouth at this very moment. The first voice is yours. Your own reasoning, your instinct to react, your need to defend yourself, your compulsion to explain, your hunger to be understood. And that voice, left unchecked, will always lead you into the exact place heaven has been trying to keep you out of. The second voice is the enemy, and the enemy does not need to place thoughts in your mind first. He simply needs you to keep your mouth open at the wrong time, because an open mouth is an invitation for confusion. An open mouth is a doorway for influence. An open mouth is a window where the enemy can whisper things into your atmosphere without you even noticing. The third voice is God, and God's voice is always the quietest of the three. God's voice does not scream, God's voice does not demand, God's voice does not panic. God's voice is still, small, steady, constant, and you will never hear that voice if your mouth is constantly full of the other two. So shut your mouth completely, and the voice of God will become the loudest sound in your life. You may have noticed something. Perhaps in the last few days, you have felt a strange peace settling over you that you cannot explain. Perhaps you have felt less reactive than usual. Perhaps you have felt less interested in arguments that would have normally lit a fire inside you. Perhaps you have walked away from conversations that would have normally held you hostage for hours. If that is you, chosen one, I need you to understand something sacred. That is not weakness. That is God closing your mouth from the inside. That is the Holy Spirit disarming the very words you were about to speak. That is heaven performing surgery on your tongue without anesthesia. And the moment you stop fighting it, the moment you stop forcing conversations you were never meant to have, the moment you stop explaining yourself to people who have never paid the price to understand you, the breakthrough you have been waiting for will no longer be waiting. It will be standing at your door. Type yes once more if your spirit is on fire right now. Because what I am about to unwrap next is something heaven has reserved for the very end of this message to make sure only the chosen ones would receive it. There is a quiet that exists before every great miracle. There is a quiet before every divine opening. There is a quiet before every supernatural encounter. And that quiet is not empty. That quiet is full of God's presence. So full that every unnecessary word spoken in that season becomes a desecration of the very atmosphere heaven has been trying to build for you. And God is now telling you, with the tenderness of a father who has watched you bleed for too long, stop desecrating what I have been building. Stop speaking over what I have been weaving. Stop reacting to what I have been silently orchestrating. Shut your mouth completely and let me finish the work. There is a place in God where words become dangerous, not because they are evil, but because the timing is wrong, and chosen ones are called to guard the timing of every syllable that leaves their lips. Because a word spoken too early can delay a blessing for years. A word spoken in the wrong room can awaken a generational curse. A word spoken in the wrong season can close a door that was about to swing wide open for you. And God, in His mercy, is trying to keep you from that. So He has placed this message in your spirit right now as a warning. A warning that the next few months of your life will be silent, will be guarded, will be holy, will be sealed. And that sealing will be the most sacred season of your entire existence. Nothing about your life has been accidental. And the silence that is approaching your life is not accidental either. Heaven has been planning it for years. Heaven has been arranging the people who need to be removed from your life to create the silence. Heaven has been arranging the conversations that need to be cut short to protect the silence. Heaven has been arranging the environments, the routines, the friendships, even the dreams, to prepare you for a silence so holy that the enemy will not even be able to find you inside of it. And in that silence, chosen one, you will hear the voice of God more clearly than you have ever heard it. You will receive instruction that will accelerate your destiny tenfold. You will receive healing that no therapy, no medicine, no human effort could ever deliver. You will receive clarity that will dissolve every confusion the enemy has poured into your mind. And you will begin to see your future with a vision so sharp it will feel like prophecy. And then, when you finally speak again, chosen one, the words that come out of your mouth will not be your words. They will not be reactions. They will not be defenses. They will not be explanations. They will be heaven's words, heaven's fire, heaven's thunder, heaven's cure. And the world will hear the difference. They will not be able to explain it, but they will know. They will know that something has changed. They will know that the person standing in front of them is not the same person who was silenced. They will know that you have been rebuilt from the inside out, and that is the moment your testimony begins to shake the people around you. You were chosen for this season. You were chosen for this hour. You were chosen for this exact message. And if even one word of what I have spoken tonight has awakened something inside you, that is heaven confirming that the commissioning has begun. The commissioning into the quiet, the commissioning into the stillness, the commissioning into the sacred silence where God's voice becomes the only voice that matters in your life. So tonight, chosen one, I am asking you to do something that the world will never understand. I am asking you to close your mouth, not in defeat, not in surrender, not in fear, but in obedience. In surrender to the divine instructions of a Father who has been trying to protect you, prepare you, and elevate you while you have been bleeding words into rooms that did not deserve them. Shut your mouth and watch what God does next. Type Amen if you receive this word tonight. Now let me speak directly to the deepest wound some of you are carrying. Some of you have used your mouth to hurt people. Some of you have spoken words that broke hearts. Some of you have gossiped. Some of you have revealed secrets. Some of you have made declarations in moments of anger that you cannot take back. And if that is you tonight, I need you to hear this with compassion. God is not punishing you. He is rebuilding you. He is rewiring you. He is taking the very instrument that was once used to wound others and turning it into an instrument that will heal nations. But that rewiring requires silence first. It requires a season where the old voice dies and a new voice rises. It requires a season where the tongue that once broadcasted pain becomes a tongue that broadcasts resurrection. And that season is now. That season is tonight. That season is the very moment your spirit said yes to the message you have been listening to. So if you have used your words to harm others, tonight is your night of restoration. Tonight is the night your mouth is reclaimed. Tonight is the night heaven places a divine seal over your lips and says, "From this moment forward, only my words will leave this vessel." And that promise, chosen one, is irreversible. Like this video if you receive this word tonight, because every single like on this message is an agreement in the spirit realm that the silence has begun. Now I want to talk to you about something very few ministers will ever address, and that is the danger of declaring your breakthrough before it is time. Many believers have spoken their breakthroughs into the atmosphere before heaven had finished constructing them. And every premature declaration gave the enemy a window to attack the construction site. So believers prayed for revival, but spoke the revival into existence before it was assembled. And the enemy struck it down. Believers prayed for marriage, but spoke the marriage into existence before the foundation was laid. And the enemy poisoned the soil before the seed could be planted. Believers prayed for healing, but spoke the healing into existence before the body was ready to receive it. And the enemy sent a counterfeit sickness to delay the real one. And God, in His mercy, is now saying to His chosen ones, stop declaring prematurely, stop speaking promises before I have built the room to contain them. Stop using your mouth to construct things I have not authorized. Shut your mouth completely. And let me finish the construction. And when the construction is finished, I will put my breath in your mouth, and then you will speak. And then what you speak will be unstoppable. There is a reason you are hearing this today. And that reason is one more layer of protection being added to the very destiny heaven has been quietly building for you. And if you cooperate with this instruction, if you close your mouth in obedience, if you trust the silence of God more than the noise of your own reasoning, the breakthrough will not just arrive, it will arrive fully formed. It will arrive defended, it will arrive sealed against the enemy, and it will stay. Now let me take you into the place the enemy has been trying to keep you out of. Let me take you into the Holy of Holies of divine silence, because the enemy has told you that silence is lonely. That silence is abandonment. That silence is rejection. But every single one of those lies is being dismantled right now, because silence is not loneliness. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not absence. Silence is presence. The deepest, most sacred, most powerful presence of God ever experienced by a human being has always happened in silence. Not in noise, not in crowds, not in arguments, not in declarations, in silence. And that is where God is taking you now, into a place where you will hear His heart, into a place where you will feel His breath, into a place where He will whisper your true name, into a place where your entire future will be rewritten without a single word being spoken, into a place where every wound will be bound, into a place where every chain will be broken, into a place where your identity will be restored, into a place where your calling will be sharpened, into a place where your assignments will be activated with a precision no human strategy could ever replicate. And the enemy will not be able to find you there, because the silence will become your covering, the stillness will become your shield, the quiet will become your armor. And the war that has been raging around your life for years will suddenly lose its ammunition, because there will be no more reactions to weaponize. There will be no more speeches to mock. There will be no more explanations to twist. There will be no more conversations to infiltrate. There will be nothing but the still small voice of a God who has been waiting years to speak to you in a place where the world cannot interrupt. And when He speaks, chosen one, you will never be the same again. So tonight, right now, in this moment, close your mouth physically if you have to press your lips together. Close your eyes and let God know through the posture of your body that you are surrendering your words to Him. Because heaven responds to surrender. Heaven responds to obedience. Heaven responds to the smallest physical act of faith performed by a child who is tired of doing things their own way. Type 777 one more time if you are ready to surrender your words to heaven tonight. Now let me address something very sacred. Some of you are watching this message and you have been carrying a word from God for years. A word that you have been afraid to release. A word that you have been afraid will be rejected. A word that you have been afraid will be mocked. A word that you have been afraid no one will understand. A prophecy, a dream, a burden, a song, a vision, a blueprint, and the enemy has used your fear to keep your mouth closed in the wrong direction. He has convinced you that silence is protection when it comes to your God-given assignment. But that is the exact opposite of what heaven is saying. Heaven is saying, shut your mouth about everything that does not matter and open it for the only thing that does. The message heaven has burned into your spirit, the calling heaven has stamped on your identity, the destiny heaven has woven into your very being. So, if you have been silent about the wrong things, tonight is your night to be silent about the noise and loud about the calling. And if you do, the calling will not just awaken, it will accelerate, it will amplify. It will break open dimensions of influence you never imagined possible. Chosen one, you were never ordinary, and the world is about to begin understanding that in a way that will leave no room for doubt. I want to speak to those of you who have been feeling increasingly burdened by other people's pain. Some of you cannot scroll past a tragedy without weeping. Some of you cannot hear of loss without collapsing. Some of you carry burdens for people you barely know. And you have been told that you are too emotional, too weak, too unstable. But chosen one, that burden is not a disorder. That burden is a divine assignment. That burden is heaven giving you the compassion that the enemy is trying to keep dormant. That burden is the foundation of the calling that has been written into your spirit since before you were born. But that assignment requires a disciplined mouth. Because if you carry this burden and your mouth is ungoverned, the burden will pour out in the wrong places at the wrong times, and the enemy will use your compassion against you. So seal your mouth until heaven gives you the green light to release the burden through prayer, through prophecy, through ministry, through art, through writing, through whatever container heaven has been preparing for you. When the time is right, your mouth will be opened by God Himself. And the words that come out of your mouth in that season will carry a compassion so deep that entire rooms will fall to their knees, entire families will be restored, entire generations will be healed. Because your mouth will not be speaking in that moment. Heaven will be speaking through you. And that, chosen one, is the moment everything changes. Let me take you somewhere prophetic. There is a season coming very soon where God will begin to open doors that no human being can close. Doors of opportunity, doors of influence, doors of restoration, doors of visitation, doors of miracles that will not fit inside the limitations of human understanding. And those doors will not open with noise. They will open with obedience, with stillness, with humility, with a quiet mouth that has been surrendered to heaven, with a sealed vessel that has allowed God to fill every corner of it. And those doors, chosen one, are being prepared for you right now, behind the silence, behind the stillness, behind the closing of your lips, behind the surrender of your words. Heaven is constructing doors so wide that when they finally swing open, the sound of them opening will be heard across entire lifetimes. So do not panic when the silence deepens. Do not interpret the quiet as rejection. Do not interpret the stillness as abandonment. Heaven is doing something. Heaven is finishing something. Heaven is preparing something. And the silence is not emptiness. The silence is the sound of God building your breakthrough in the very place the enemy cannot see. You have been chosen for this. You were chosen before the foundation of the world, and every trial you walked through, every betrayal you survived, every rejection you endured, every night you cried alone, every prayer that felt like it hit the ceiling, every dream you buried because no one believed in it, every vision you sealed in your heart because you were afraid of what people would say. Every piece of your story that felt too painful to share, every scar you tried to hide, was preparation for this exact moment, this exact message, this exact silence, this exact commissioning into the quiet mouth, this exact hour of your life. And I need you to understand something that will stay with you for the rest of your life. The enemy has fought you. The enemy has stalked you. The enemy has tried to silence you, discredit you, isolate you, confuse you, break you. But he has not won, and he will not win. Because the God who began a work in you is faithful, and he will complete it. And he did not bring you this far to abandon you now. He brought you here to quiet you. And in the quiet, everything you have ever lost is about to be returned to you. Joy is about to be returned. Peace is about to be returned. Provision is about to be returned. Identity is about to be returned. Calling is about to be returned. Favor is about to be returned. The relationships heaven has always intended for your life are about to be returned. The opportunities heaven assigned to your destiny before the enemy existed are about to be returned. The assignments heaven wrote into your bloodline are about to be returned. And when all of it returns, chosen one, your mouth will be the first instrument heaven uses to release it into the earth. So do not lose heart. Do not give up. Do not let the noise convince you that the silence is wrong. Heaven is quiet right now, and heaven is doing something unspeakable in the quiet. Type yes one final time if you are ready to step into the silence of God. And now, chosen one, I want to leave you with something very few people will ever understand. There are 3 silences the enemy fears more than anything in the spirit realm. The silence of a chosen one in prayer, because that silence is the sound of a sealed heaven being opened. The silence of a chosen one in obedience, because that silence is the sound of an entire demonic plan being shut down. and the silence of a chosen one in waiting. Because that silence is the sound of a breakthrough being forged in dimensions the enemy cannot see, and right now, tonight, you have stepped into all three. By the very fact that you watched this message to the end, by the very fact that you stayed, by the very fact that you engaged with your spirit instead of your doubts, by the very fact that you believed something I said even before you could fully understand it, by the very fact that your spirit felt something stir that your mind could not explain. You stepped into the silence, and heaven has taken note. And I declare over you tonight, in the authority of the Most High God, every word you have released that should not have been released is now disarmed in the spirit realm. Every assignment the enemy tried to use your mouth to advance is now broken and reversed. Every blessing that was delayed by unnecessary words is now released at full speed. Every door that was closed because of premature declarations is now being reopened by the hand of God. Every chain that was forged by gossip, by argument, by reaction, by explanation, by pride, is now shattered and lying at your feet. Your mouth is now a holy instrument, sealed by heaven, guarded by angels, activated by the Holy Spirit. And when it opens again, chosen one, the sound that comes out will not be ordinary. It will be the sound of heaven pouring through a human vessel for the very first time in this generation, and the earth will feel it. You were never ordinary. And tonight, you are not just a believer, you are a quiet force, a still weapon, a sealed vessel, a chosen one whose mouth has been reclaimed by the living God. Go in the silence, walk in the stillness, carry the quiet, guard the words, trust the timing, and watch what heaven does next. Because everything you have been through was preparation. Every tear was irrigation. Every scar was a seal. Every loss was a release. Every silence was a setup. And this moment, right now, was ordained before time itself. And heaven is speaking through your stillness in ways that will echo for generations. Good night, chosen one. And may every word that was supposed to harm you be turned into a weapon that sets others free. In the mighty, matchless, terrifying, gentle, holy name of the Most High God. Amen.